Hello, everyone, and welcome to McGill Cares webcast series supporting family and informal caregivers. I'm Claire Webster, a former caregiver, certified dementia care consultant, and founder of McGill University's Dementia Education Program. I work with a dynamic team of leading healthcare professionals to oversee the program, who include Dr. José Moret from the Division of Geriatric Medicine and Dr. Serge Gauthier, Professor Emeritus, formerly of the McGill University Research Center for Studies in Aging. These webcasts are made possible thanks to the generosity of our donors, and I would like to sincerely thank the Zeller Family Foundation for sponsoring today's webcast. Today, we will be talking about how technology and tools can support older adults to live independently. My guest is Ron Beleno, an advocate for dementia, caregiving, aging, and research communities. While caring for his father, who was living with dementia, Mr. Beleno developed an expertise in the use of technology, community, and access to research to support his family to live as well as possible at home. He is currently an active member, advisor, and mentor to numerous organizations and educational institutions, including AGE-WELL, the Center for Aging and Brain Health Innovation at Baycrest, the City of Toronto's Senior Strategy, the Center for Addiction and Mental Health, and the Translational Research Program at the University of Toronto's Faculty of Medicine. Ron, welcome to McGill Cares.
Thank you, Clara. I'm quite excited to be here today to join you and discussing technology and a little bit of dementia as well. So I look forward to this.
Well, I'm very excited to have you here because when I began my journey as a dementia care consultant, you were one of the first individuals whom I met, and really a fellow advocate, fellow care partner. And, we were talking a lot about what was missing in the space of dementia care education. And, I need to ask you, before you began this journey with your father, what did you know about dementia?
So, we connected, I think about 5-6 years ago, and timing sometimes is a big deal of when dementia enters your life. For me, my dad was diagnosed back in 2007, and back then I knew nothing about dementia. Took me probably even 5 to 6 years to even understand it. So no, I knew nothing. I knew nothing about dementia, knew nothing about the caregiving process of what it meant to be a caregiver. But you learn fast. You actually learn fast.
Mm-hmm.
You're forced to learn sometimes. So, yeah.
So I would have never, 20 years ago, somebody would have said to me, Claire, you're going to become a certified dementia care consultant. I would have never imagined such a career, right?
Yeah.
And my journey really led me here. I mean, could you say the same thing about yourself? I mean, were you doing this type of work before your own journey?
So no, I was, I don't think anyone kind of grows up to say, I'm going to eventually become a dementia advocate. Maybe if you've gone to school, but you and me, we've lived, we've had the lived experience. And so prior to this, actually, I was kind of in the caring space. My background's computer science and business, but I actually was the executive director of a nonprofit community center where we helped young people and their careers. Did a little bit of life coaching, some business advising and consulting, but nothing in this specific caring space. But yes, I've shifted over and I do a lot of work now with researchers, academics, industry, of course, people living with dementia and our caregivers and care partners now when it comes to providing some advice and our life lessons that both you and I have learned along the way.
Well, I know that you give your presentation across the country to numerous organizations, and I'm really excited for our viewers to have this opportunity to listen to you today. So why don't I just let you take it away?
So hi again, everyone. So I'm going to share with you a presentation that I like to share with many people, the topic about technology and caregiving. But I actually like to sneak in a specific word, the word tools. Many people get caught up with the word technology, and to me, could be an exciting word for some people. It's something that catches people's attention. But in the end, it's simply a tool. A tool to me could be something as simple as a pencil, could be a hammer. And that's really how you have to approach technology, in my opinion. So this presentation I call Using Technology and Tools to Support Independent Living for Older Adults. Specifically, I'm going to be referencing dementia. My dad, who was an older adult, we had the challenges that came with the world of dementia. I have my own way of communicating the words, the language, so I'll explain that in a second here. But anyways, the title is Using Technology and Tools to Support Independent Living for Older Adults. That's my name, Ron Beleno or Beleno, and there's some contact information, and that's me. So thank you again. I wanted to say a special thank you to Claire and McGill Cares and your team over there. I appreciate the invite today to be here with you, as well as to the Seller Family Foundation and the donors that support McGill Cares and the Dementia Education Program. So you can see that's a little computer smiling at you, if anyone wasn't sure what that was. So today I'm going to be talking about a few different themes here. People think that, when it comes to technology, that I could just start showing you the technology and explaining it to you. This is what you need. But I actually think that's not where the work needs to happen. It needs to happen before you even get to technology. Making that connection as to why are you even going to invest in that technology, spend the time with that technology, and will that technology even make an impact in your life? So I need to spend more time first before the technology, and then I'll talk about some of the tools that are out there, okay? So again, think of it as a toolbox. As much as there's a laptop, you have your smartphones, you have fancy gadgets, they're simply tools that you have to kind of decide which tools do I get to help us when it comes to caring, okay? So being a caregiver, before I go into this, I like to share this with a lot of people first. I like to kind of give the audience, those that are watching today, just how I approach my talks, or how you could approach it. Even though I'm here speaking to all of you, I'm my expert, but you need to be your own expert. Okay, so first and foremost, I'm asking you, just because Ron's saying something, you do not need to accept what I tell you. Okay, you can agree, you can disagree, or you can sit on the fence and think about it. Okay, you have the power to choose. Okay, and that's important to me as well, that a lot of this that I'm talking about is about choice. Okay, technology and tools give you more choices, but I can't tell you, which is the best choice for you to go with. Okay, but I could give you the process of how to pick these choices or these tools. Okay, so you have the power of choice. Not all of what you're going to see or hear from me is meant for everyone's situation. I'm going to give you one or two examples with my dad, with our story. For example, my dad was someone who went missing a lot. He was a wanderer. Okay, that's a word that I choose to use. Okay, that I'm comfortable with that word. But for some people, they don't have that challenge. So you just kind of have to translate my example maybe into your world when it comes to choosing what's best for you. Okay, you still get to choose. My goal here is to help you create and choose solutions to live better. Okay, so whatever situation you're in, I'm trying to help you to make it a little better with, again, some of the strategies, some of the process of how you figure things out, and also some of the tools. Here I talk about choice. You hear a lot about choice coming from me. And choice isn't just on technology and tools, but it's what are the words we use? Who are the relationships that we choose to have on our care team? And what are the responses that we have when it comes to some of these challenges we deal with? I've always said when it comes to making choices, try and come up with a minimum of 3 choices, okay? So for today's talk, when it comes to technology and tools, I will always suggest never pick the first technology that someone tells you or that you discover. Always come up with at least 2 or 3 more tools that you can kind of compare and say, should I invest in this? Okay, is there a better tool, a better technology? Okay, so as I said, it's not always the first technology you're going to take. Try and consider 2 or 3 others. Okay. Your job is to maybe, I always say when you leave any of my talks that you have some call to action. You have a few ideas or tips or strategies that you can try and apply in your life. If it's not for you, please share it on with someone else that maybe can benefit from it. And lastly here, I'm not here to be perfect, okay? And you can tell perfect is spelled incorrectly there, but that's on purpose, okay? When it comes to, again, coming up with solutions to improve our lives as we age, for older adults, for caregivers, for, someone like my dad who lived with dementia, we were dealing with a lot of failures. And for me, failures is not a bad word. When it comes to dementia, we're just trying to get through these failures and these challenges in life. Even when I get technology and tools and I invest in some of them are going to fail on me. So I'm just trying to set that expectation that it's not always going to be perfect. So if you're going into this expecting that one technology or tool will solve your answers, or solve the challenges and questions that you have, and there'll be that one ultimate answer, likely it won't. Okay, so it's not going to be perfect, but will it be better in your life? Just one phrase I like to say when you're dealing with failure. Okay, we're dealing with a lot of failures. It's an opportunity to find another important lesson. Okay, and so you can find another important lesson under review of an experience. So my dad goes missing, let's say, as someone with dementia, he's gone out and he doesn't make it back home in time and we needed police. I count that as a failure. Not a judgment that I'm a good or bad person, just that was a failure in an experience. So how do we find that lesson, okay, so that the next time, okay, he could be safer and we can make him get home sooner than later, okay? So that's an example of a failure that we dealt with a fair bit, okay? So lastly, we are all cheering for each other, okay? I just want to make sure that we all cheer for each other, we all support each other. That's one of my important ask of everybody. So being a caregiver, very simple. Who are caregivers? I was a caregiver. Claire was a caregiver. I still am a caregiver to a point, caring for my mom, who's independent by herself as an older adult. But we all have different words and labels. For me, I say people get to choose. That's my personal opinion. That if you prefer the term care partner, a carer, outside of North America, they use the term carer. Some, when we talk about cultural caregiving, some don't even understand the term caregiving. They just say, I'm the son or I'm the daughter. Could be husband, wife. So there's a list right there. And you get to choose, okay, whatever word you prefer. But the key word is that we are caring. Okay, we are caring for someone. In this context, caring for my dad who lived with Alzheimer's and supporting my mom, caring for my mom. Okay, so that's just something that I wanted you all to understand, that I will use the term caregiver today. Okay, little background of who I am. Okay, these two people, okay, those two people there, they are my parents. They had one child. I'm an only child. I am their favorite. And what happens when you get these two together, they have this guy here. What Filipinos like to do, coming from that background, they like to combine their names. So they got the Ron from my mom, so Roncesvalles. Okay, her full name is Roncesvalles, and there's a street named in Toronto called Roncesvalles. They got the Ron plus the Aldo from my dad, and my full name is Ronaldo. Okay, and some people know a famous soccer player named Ronaldo, exact same name. Okay, fortunately, my dad didn't go first because if he went first, okay, it would have been Ray, and they would have got the second part of my mom, Sess, and I would have been called racist, my whole life. Even though no one knew the spelling, they would say, "Oh, he's racist. There's racist." So I'm glad I wasn't called racist. I probably would have a very different life being known as a racist. So, anyways, that's just a little side note there of my name. Lucky, we have a cat, a care partner. Lucky was part of the team, and Lucky lived a long life until recently, this past summer. After 20 years, he was part of the care team, supporting my dad and my mom as well, known as my brother. Okay, so that's Lucky. My mom said, Lucky is going to be your brother. So that's how we move forward. So that's my family. That's the beginning of a story. All of us have our stories. We all have different paths and different challenges in our stories, but some of them are very similar, right? And I like to use the word challenges, okay? So that is a choice, a word that I use a fair bit. challenges with dementia. So here's a few here. You might not see all of them, but here's just a few that you can kind of see. And quick summary here is that my dad was diagnosed back in 2007, okay, with Alzheimer's and dementia. As I mentioned to Claire earlier, I knew nothing about dementia. I didn't know what it meant to be a caregiver. I lived 20 minutes away from my parents. So during the 10 years that he was alive, okay, until 2018, or the 10 plus years that, he was alive with that diagnosis, we took it on as challenges, okay? Sometimes we didn't even use the word dementia, okay? We just said, okay, Dad, what's in our way? What's stopping you from living what you want to do? And these were some of them, okay? So memory loss was a big one. Some of the ones in bold are the ones that we had more challenges with, okay? So my dad fell a lot. So we had to use grab bars, okay, in the house. We put safety, we removed things from the house so that he wouldn't trip over things, okay? Incontinence, wandering, as I mentioned there, that's again a word I choose. I bring up at the bottom there unintentional abuse. That's something I talk a fair bit about right now. That with caregiving sometimes is that I will say that without knowing it, there were moments where I was unintentionally being abusive. And that's, again, not Ron trying to be a bad person, but people have to understand that it happens. See, I would yell at my dad. I might yell at my mom, okay, in the moment. But when you step away saying, okay, they don't deserve that, but it's just one of those that we need to work on and understand, okay, with each other. So so those are a few examples there. Here's our care team. For one person with dementia, here's a whole list, and that list is not even the complete list, okay? And some of them you may not know depending where you live, but family physicians, of course. We needed police when my dad went missing. There's some organizations here in Ontario back at the time that we were dealing with. So that's a whole list, but I actually even went to the local retailers and coffee shops to help with our challenges, okay? So I would give them a business card, okay? So that's a tool for me, a simple business card. I've had maybe a dozen phone calls to say, hey, your dad's here and it's past 7 p.m. It's kind of dark outside and we're concerned that he might not make it back home. Well, they helped us out, okay? So just having that business card is a tool for me, okay, to keep him safe in the community, okay? So those are just a few examples of some of our community members, okay? This slide, I'm not going to go into detail, okay, but I just wanted to show this very briefly. This is a slide I've been using for years just for me, but I've shared it with people to say, what was I dealing with specifically when it comes to dementia? And anytime someone tells me I have a challenge regarding my dad or my mom or my partner, I actually think of this slide for me. I would say, who are the team players, okay? In this game, okay? And I like to use the term game, not in a fun way, but just in a processing way. So who are the team members in this game? But specifically, I go into the 5 at the bottom, okay? What was I dealing with? I was dealing with emotions, okay? So if my dad's going missing, I'm dealing with fear, okay? That he may not make it home, the stress of maybe looking for him, or the stress around my mom being always worried that he might even leave the house in the middle of the night. And the confidence that we could get through the day. So those were some of the emotions we're dealing with. Financials, okay? There's a cost to many of these challenges that we're dealing with, okay? And I'll explain that when it comes to technology, okay? There is a cost to technology, but is it worth it to invest in technology or a specific technology? There's time, okay? Of course, caregivers really, really understand that time is a challenge. We're all given equal time every day, 24 hours. But for someone who is a caregiver, that time is not something, 24 hours is not enough, simply put. And you have to be a little bit more efficient with time, or you have to use tools, okay? Leverage various tools to help you with time challenges. I talk about energy, getting sleep, getting exercise, being physically fit. Your mental energy. So again, these are my terms here, my variables. That's what I would talk about with energy. And psychographics is one that I really personally love to talk about, which isn't really used in the healthcare space, but specifically I like to hone in on the values. Okay, what is the value, out there of the person that maybe I'm caring for? What's my dad's values? My dad loved Music. My dad was a spiritual man. Okay, so how could I offer that to him? Okay, he valued that. Okay, so same thing for the caregiver. What are the values of the caregivers? And sometimes they conflict in the caring process. So I share all this stuff because we're getting to the technology part in a second here. But you can't just get any technology if you don't understand some of these variables. Dollars, what's going to be the cost? How much time will it take me to utilize this technology, or how much time will it save me? Okay, what are the emotions that a technology can provide? Okay, no one really looks at it that way. Okay, a GPS device. Okay, so a device that can help find my dad. Okay, that technology. Okay, actually reduces the fear for me and my mom. Okay, increases the confidence, that goes up. Okay, so sometimes you have to look at technology in different ways, not just does it solve a problem or a challenge, but what else does it offer and what does it increase and decrease in your life? So that's why I wanted to kind of bring that up, which is now why I'm going to talk about the calculating caregiver. Okay? And I always believe before you make any decision or choice, okay, or accept anything, okay, you need to get better at calculating. Okay? And caregivers are constantly calculating. If I do this, then what? Okay, if I pay money to hire someone, or if I pay money to get a technology, what is that return? Okay, so I like to talk about the ROs. Okay, and the two popular ROs out there, the return on would be ROI, okay, and ROT, return on investment and return on time. Okay, so a lot of people look at investment that you put in a bank or in a stock or in a guaranteed income, fund, something like that, a mutual fund, whatever that may be, not guaranteed, but that's usually what people think of ROI. But I'm trying to put the ROI in caregiving, okay, or aging and care, the return on time. Okay, so understand those two, but then there's others. I'm going to say, what's the return on the technology? Okay. As I said, a GPS, okay, or could be a camera in the home, okay, that you could put a sensor in the home, okay. What's the return on that technology? That technology could be beneficial, okay, and go up, but there could also be the negative return, okay. Well, if you get technology, sometimes you have to give up things like privacy, okay. There could be a risk involved, okay. There's bad people out there that's going to take advantage of you through technology. So just something to keep in mind. So what's the return on technology? As I said, technology, another word for technology is tools, okay, for me. So you can just replace the word technology and tools. What's the return on the emotions? What are the emotions that happen when you spend money, when you get more time, when you get a specific tool? Okay, return on QOL. Okay, QOL isn't just quantity of life, okay, but it's also quality of life. Okay, it's not just the length of how long someone lives, but also the quality. And return on their values. Okay, what is of value to that person? So as I said, this technology, if I can get my dad a smart speaker, okay, so something like a Google device or an Alexa where it'll play music for my dad remotely. I could care for him remotely, okay. It could play all his music, okay. That's a high return, okay, on that technology. And that's something that my dad values. And I'll make sure that I won't be playing him songs that he doesn't like. He wants the Frank Sinatras. He wants maybe the Bing Crosby's. That's the kind of music I want to give him. So that's what technology can provide. Okay, it's more choice. Okay, and then return on blank. Each and every one of you who might be watching this, you have to fill that in for yourself. I can't tell you what that is. Okay, what is of value to you in your life at this moment? So get better at calculating. Okay, there's all that calculations that's happening. How do I get better returns? I call them the return on the numbers. Okay, and by accident, this wasn't planned. If you ever forget, they actually spelled this guy's name who's talking right now, the Rons. Okay, so that was never planned, but the return on these numbers, there's all these numbers moving up and down. And how do you get better with the return on the numbers when it comes to your life, okay, and the person you're caring for, okay? So now to the technology piece, okay? Another popular word that's happening right now is age tech, okay? So it's an okay word, okay? It picks a demographic that when you hear the term age tech, Many people think an older person, older adult, and technology specifically for them. But in all honesty, technology is for anybody. It doesn't matter, in my opinion, what age, and it shouldn't be, the term aging. But it's used, it's out there, so I'm not going to judge it in a negative way. So it just helps explain that, okay, here's some technology specifically for people as you're aging, okay? So technology, age second tools as a choice, okay? Now, I want you to kind of consider, okay, for those that are not fans of technology, it's, I'm going to say you're already using it. Majority of us, have a plumbing system, okay? We have access to water. That at one point was technology, brand new technology. There are many parts in the world that doesn't even have this technology, okay? So with this technology, okay, you could actually, the plumbing system, okay, oh, hang on, let me move back here. Yeah, the plumbing system, okay, brings us and delivers many things to us and also removes things from our lives, okay? So for example, it brings us water, of course, to help us clean, to help us go to the bathroom, to wash our clothes, to wash our dishes, okay? It can actually help us grow food, okay, in parts where we can't grow food, okay? It brings safety, okay, by having a plumbing system, okay? And again, cleaning. Cleaning is a popular one when it comes to water there, but that's what the plumbing system can bring, that technology and all these tools, okay? The internet as one form of technology, you can consider it also as a plumbing system, okay? And what does it deliver, okay? So the internet, which not everyone has, but if you're watching this, you're already on the internet, chances are. So I'm comfortable sharing this here that you'll understand the benefits of the internet. Nothing new here that many of you won't know, but I'll just clarify this here. The internet brings you, again, other tools, okay? So you have some different types of tools here. Maybe not a hammer, maybe not a plumbing system, maybe not a toilet, but you got all these laptops and smartphones, but you can also have cameras and sensors to help monitor from a distance, okay? Just on that topic around cameras and sensors, people sometimes say, wouldn't you rather be there with your dad? Isn't that more important? And my answer is yes. When it comes to technology and tools, they're just a tool to help, okay? In my world, that's how I look at them. They're not to replace a human. I'd rather be there with my dad, but there are some things that, I may not have the time to do. Coming back to previously above, was the dishwasher and the laundry machine here, okay? Some people love cleaning. As a caregiver, as much as I really sometimes want to just clean the dishes, I don't have the time to do that. So this is where technology can help, okay? So that's the same thing that comes with the other tools here, okay, when it comes to these other technologies. So camera can help me care remotely. My mom can step away from the home and I'm watching my dad to make sure he's safe, okay? There's some watches and GPS devices out there that can help track healthcare data, as I said, for locating, as an example. There are these smart devices that can bring entertainment, can bring information. It could be a communication tool for an emergency. I could call one of these and my dad or mom doesn't have to answer it. It'll automatically answer for me specifically. And I could, reach them easily. These car services, okay, so I could go on my phone and I could tell my mom, just go outside, mom. There's a car ready for you, okay? And then there's alert systems in the home. You can control lighting. There's a lot of tools, but you get it, okay? And why I also bring up some of these shopping places online is that actually helps with time. I could order now online, and that'll save me a lot of time. And we've learned a lot of that during the pandemic as well right now as to how these things affect our lives, okay? So as you remember, I mentioned some of these variables in my life: energy, emotions, financial, psychographics, and time, okay? Well, these are some of the examples of just some examples to get you thinking how tools and technologies can support you in your life to make things better. They could help with communication, okay? Easier ways to communicate. reminders. Okay, I always told people sometimes you don't need to remember things in your head. Take a photo of something. Just take photos on your phone. Okay, could create stimulation, safety and monitoring, help with safety and monitoring, increase physical mobility. Some technologies make you more active, like virtual reality. I'm a fan of virtual reality for some people, not for everybody, but it could keep even the caregiver physically active in the home. Saves you on time, okay, or increases the value of your time as quality time. There's education. It could reduce fear, could save you money, provide rest and respite. Okay? It can address social isolation and increase inclusion, and increase, again, the quantity of time. So there's many benefits, but I also just want to throw out one small thing as we're finishing up here. There's some risks with technology. There's ethical, human rights that you have to kind of be concerned about sometimes. There's privacy issues. As I said, there's also bad people out there. There is a learning curve. Okay, sometimes some technologies aren't easy to use. I will always suggest to people that if technology could be returned, and technology sometimes needs to be experienced to really just see the benefits. So I say, give it a try for 1 week. And if you don't like it, return it. Okay, that's usually the best way I would suggest people try technology. Technology needs to be maintained. Some of it you need to kind of keep coming back and fixing or adjusting. There's some trust issues for some people that have trust with technology, and you have to weigh the cost. There's a dollar in cost, of course. It could be overwhelming and could create new challenges. Okay, so that's that. I will just say technology are simply tools to connect us to something else. Okay, so a hammer and a nail is not what I get excited about, but that's the tool. What I get excited about is putting up that picture frame that'll have a photo of my dad and my mom. Okay, that's what I get excited about. But I can't do that without these tools. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. And again, consider tools and technology as investments. Okay, not an expense, but as an investment to address your challenges in life. Okay, so that is that. My last quick one here is just some quick tips and examples around technology. And that is to, I'll zoom in here. Okay, very simply, I will always suggest create a team. Okay, create a team when it comes to technology. Add a Batman or Iron Man to your tech team. So add someone who is technically savvy. Okay, they don't have to be as rich as Batman and Iron Man. Okay, but as long as sometimes a Batman or an Iron Man could be a teenager or someone quite young. Okay, who might really already be comfortable with the technology. I would say technology, I love when it brings stuff like music, the sensory benefits. Okay, so that could be music or something where you feel something or see something. Okay, so whether that's Spotify or streaming services. Okay, it's good for online socializing. Okay, I have meals online with people. Okay, a virtual meal with people remotely. I would have people remotely having a meal with my dad so my mom could take a nap. Okay, you could use it for safety. Connect remotely, okay, to devices. So remote caregiving is what I do. I can connect remotely to my mom's computer. When she's stuck on it, I can help her out. Understand, as I said, the environment and senses of how technology can help you with lighting, okay, with sound, with visuals. I commented a little bit about some shopping sites, that you all know about. I always say, do not pick the first choice that you see. Always check out 2 or 3 other locations or products or solutions. I would always say, check the reviews on more than one site. Okay, they're not always accurate, but you'll figure it out after time that, okay, there's more than enough comments here that this might be a good technology to try. Check the return policy. You can always return technology. Okay, and these tools. There's social media platforms, of course, which many of you know, listed there, where you can get some information from other peer supporters, caregivers, and friends. And then I'm just listing some apps and tools that I use. WeTrack, I have a personal connection to them. That's a Canadian company that does stuff around locating, keeping people safe with some tools. Making notes, Evernote's just one that I use. Use your phone camera a lot. And entertainment sites like Netflix, Disney, and all that. So that is my talk on using technology and tools to support independent living for older adults and technically caregivers, people with dementia. So, Claire, thank you again for having me, and hopefully some of this was beneficial to the audience.
Thank you so much, Ron, for taking the time to give us this really amazing presentation. And if you had to, for those people, though, that are just beginning, and I love how you use the word Batman or Iron Man, but I call it, yes, it's my IT guy, because every time something goes wrong with the internet or my printer, I think that advice of having somebody that's close to you or a professional that that to assist with setting up these devices, or to help you troubleshoot through them. But for those people watching, if they had to choose just one or two items, what would be your recommendation? I mean, when I'm listening to you, I think of, like, for instance, that, the medical alert, bracelet, which has now probably GPS tracking. I mean, if people had to choose one or two, what would be your top picks?
Oh, that's not an easy one, because, and I'll give you, depending on the challenge, because I always say we lead with the challenge before the technology, is my view. So if it was with regards to someone at risk, so dementia, the stats are more than 60% of people with dementia will be at risk of going missing, okay, or getting lost, going out and not making them back home, or getting confused, okay? So that's a flip of a coin, more than 50%. And there's going to be one incident. And I work a lot in that space. And medical alert is one tool, okay, for identifying someone, okay, with a dementia, okay. But if there is no technology on that, so sometimes I say technology naked, meaning that someone's walking around and there's no identifier or no GPS, then there's a concern there. Personally, when it comes to GPS devices, as much as I would like to say a watch, there's some issues with that. Some of them are quite chunky and big. I personally am working on a side little project. Hopefully it's in another location, like maybe the shoes or something like that. Some work I'm doing, because that's a little bit easier. But right now, I would just say simply a GPS device. Sometimes it's not even that. It's actually grabbing the phone and taking pictures of my dad and all his clothes. Okay. It's the technology that's not on him. It's actually that I'm prepared when, if I need the police to say, okay, yeah, we're missing his red shirt. He's wearing these shoes, these jean pants. That's what he looks like. And that to me could actually help a lot, in a different way. So, so that's that one technology. I'm actually, again, a fan of smart devices in the home. If someone can get the internet, okay, I could remotely, play songs for my mom. I could contact her. She could ask questions to these smart devices like the Google or the Amazon Alexa. So I'm a fan of those. That's the ones that I would suggest to try out. Okay.
Well, Ron, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us here today. And, I hope maybe you can perhaps send us some links to some other resources that you think would be interesting for our viewers, because we have a resources section on the McGill Dementia Education Program site. So if you could give us some resources, that would be terrific.
Definitely.
Thank you so much for taking the time with us today.
Thank you, Claire.
This webcast is an initiative of the McGill Dementia Education Program, which is funded by private donations. Once again, I would like to thank the Zeller Family Foundation for sponsoring today's webcast. If you would like to make a contribution to our program or for more information, please visit us at mcgill.ca/dementia. And if you would like to join our mailing list to be notified of upcoming episodes of McGill Cares, as well as other important programs and resources from us, you can sign up and watch at McGill Cares webcast. You could sign up at the McGill Cares webcast tab on our website, or email us at dementia@mcgill.ca. Thank you for watching.